What's up, guys? So we are back for episode 2 of ChicKIN and Rice. And here in episode 2, we wanted to kind of establish what exactly the ChicKIN and Rice podcast is and just go through a little bit of what it is that we're wanting to accomplish and things of that nature. So ChicKIN and Rice is, it started with something kind of surface. It was like a little joke between Sean and I. Sean was making fun of me singing this, and I didn't know he was recording. Sean, he's a little bit of a jokester, but he was doing that. But then the more that I thought about the whole title, and Sean, feel free to jump in while I'm explaining this. I thought about ChicKIN and Rice and the meaning of it, and ChicKIN and Rice they're two food items that are very popular in Black and Brown communities. I don't know that there's any Black and Brown community that is not familiar with ChicKIN and Rice actually together. And so when I think about that, it makes me think when you have ChicKIN and Rice in your household, you know that you're gonna be full. You know you're gonna get fed. You know you're gonna eat good. And so when I think about it in those terms, I think about that's exactly what we want you to get here with this podcast. So I feel like it's appropriately named because when you're here listening to our podcast, that's what we want you to do. We want you to be fed. We want you to be full. And that's pretty much what it is. And we're just doing this on the backs of our family and hoping that in doing so, you get something that you can take home and you can apply maybe to your own lives. And so that's pretty much what it is. What our ChicKIN and Rice podcast is about is helping out our Black and Brown people and with familial issues.
Absolutely. We just wanted to, Sujuane explain things quite nicely. I don't want to add anything to kind of mess things up, but we just wanted to make sure that we give you guys a good understanding. Episode 1, after looking at it for a couple of days, we realized that we kind of left out, a few things that should have been put into episode 1, but me and Sujuane, we got so excited when we kind of had this opportunity. And this particular podcast has been a long time coming. Yeah. I mean, we talked about this at least 2 months before, and we've done all of the technology testing, and we had an opportunity where we were in the same spot. And I just thought that what a great way to kick off our series while we were in the same location. And that opportunity just could not be wasted. And so we jumped right into it. Most of these are going to be in the format that you see now, with us being in 2 different cities. But no, there will be opportunities for us to be together again because we had some great interaction. But we just want you to get a good idea of some things that we learned. And me and Sujuane have really, really built up a great communication. I love Sujuane. She has been just a great person to know. My life would not have been the same had I not met my cousin. Unfortunately, it came through, at the passing of Sujuane's grandfather. But sometimes it does take those moments, and we're going to go into that a little bit when we're talking about our subject today, and try to find out, are there solutions, and what is it that we can do so 40 years don't pass before you meet your folks.
Right. And so I guess just kind of piggybacking off of that, my name is Sujuane, but people call me Sujuane. It's easier probably a lot of times to just say Sujuane because people will just say that. So, but I might use Sujuane and Sujuane interchangeably throughout the thing, but it's me. And that's pretty much who I am. And we already see.
I'm Brother Sean.
Brother Sean, yeah.
I'm Brother Sean.
This is Brother Sean over here. Yeah, and I mean that's who we are. And this podcast is just something that we felt was needed within our own family, to discuss some things that and bring some things to the forefront that just need to really be discussed, you know. And I know we're not the only family that goes through things like this, where we just have stuff that is just kept a secret or swept under the rug and all that kind of stuff. And so we just want to bring it out into the open to discuss it, not necessarily to point anybody out or shame anyone. We're not using anybody's names if we're talking about a specific situation, but we just want to bring the issues to the forefront to get those uncomfortable conversations started. And so that's pretty much what it is that we're doing.
We want our cousins.
Mm-hmm.
We want to meet our cousins out there. We want to meet you. We want to see you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we want, we, come into our virtual homes and then come into our real homes.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to fellowship and get to learn about you. And we want you to learn about us.
Exactly.
But for our cousins out there, come on out of hiding.
Yeah.
Okay. It's safe.
Yeah.
I promise you, it is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Just come on. Come on.
Yeah, we want you on the show. We want, and this is like, we actually want you on here. We want to actually physically see you and talk to you and have you on the podcast, because like I said, it's so many families that are dealing with the same stuff. But I just feel like we're the Mackeys, which is, our family. I feel like we're strong enough to take on some of these issues. And so
we're definitely strong
we
enough.
should do it.
It's not a lack of strength.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to keep us from committing to go. It's going to be a lack of actually picking something up.
Yeah.
So, I'm saying, and that willingness to do that. But the strength, we got that. The numbers, we got that. This is a large family. The more research you do, you just find out how much larger it really is.
Yeah.
So we just, I just can't say this enough. Come out, reach out to us.
Yes.
It's safe.
Yes.
It's safe. Okay. Yes. You've heard the expression before, a judgment-free zone. This is a judgment-free zone.
Right. And then that's going to bring us also into our today's topic, which is, what is the disconnect? I guess a little bit of our story, without getting too lengthy, is that I met Sean after, like you said, my grandfather passed away. And I met him at my grandfather's wake. And I did not know, I didn't know who he was. I just saw this was a guy, I just figured maybe it was somebody from the church or something like that, just coming to pay their respects. But when he said he was my cousin, and then he's also is the brother of one of my childhood, really good, not childhood or high school, good friend's husband, how close it is. And then the fact that his grandfather and my grandfather were brothers. And so the fact that it was that close, that I had no idea who he was. And so that's kind of what sparked this whole ChicKIN and Rice podcast. It's like, well, I don't understand how we lived in the same city, the same, possibly even zip code at times, and had no idea who the other one was. And so I guess that's our question, is like, what caused that? Like, what is the family disconnect? What caused two cousins that are virtually almost the same age, and how come we didn't know about each other?
Well, let me establish this quickly before we're going to address that information, because actually I was able to speak to an Annie a couple of hours ago that kind of helped me, kind of gauge maybe the tip of, what has happened and transpired. But before we get to that, and we talking about connecting, can you just give me, just a quick glance in your mindset? Because when we met, it was like you did not hesitate to start reaching out to me. I felt like from that moment on, you started trusting me, even though we had not, you know what I'm saying, there was no other opportunity to meet.
Right.
So what made you, what did I do, or what were you feeling at that time, after we met and we parted, and, because as soon as you left off and after the funeral, we started texting immediately. So, was this kind of a connection that you were looking for? Or, just hopefully real quickly, just give me your mindset at that time.
I don't know. I think when you have a loss, a significant loss like that, I think that, because you notice whenever somebody passes away, the first thing that you want to be around, or the people you want to be around, are family members. And so I guess just for me being in such a vulnerable position at that time with my grandfather, and then also only 5 months after my grandmother, on my dad's side. This is my grandfather on my mom's side. But 5 months prior to that, I had lost my grandmother on my dad's side. And so I think I was just in such a vulnerable position emotionally. I was just so open, had a big gaping open wound in my heart at that point. And so it's like the only people that I really wanted to help bandage those wounds were family members. And then I think that plus COVID, that definitely, you're so alienated. And so it's like, if I am going to let anybody in, or I am going to, try to get close and have that interaction with anybody, I definitely want it to be family, especially during that time. So I think that's what it was. It was the fact that, you were family, you are family. And then also energy. I'm a big energy person. I go off of people's vibes. And so if I'm vibing with you and you feel like a safe person for me, then I'm open, and I think that's what it was. And not even just, not to get so spiritual, but I just think that, God definitely had his hand all in that, his hand, feet, everything in you coming at that moment, because if it had been 5 minutes earlier or later, we could have missed each other, and so I think that's what it is. So I think, aside from me just being so open to creating a relationship with you, it was definitely some divine intervention within that as well. So.
Most definitely. And I'm going to keep my answer concise as well, as far as meeting you. I had already been doing family research for about, for about 4 or 5 months. And I was kind of riding high, because I did actually, make contact with a cousin, a person living right here in my city. And, made contact with her. So I was feeling kind of good. And then my mom told me about, how you had met my brother, and, what I'm saying, and your friend at your wedding. And I just kind of got psyched up, but no one could give me a name, So this was around November, it was finally September or December where I actually got a name. And then, but I still hadn't have any way of contacting you, but when your grandfather died, and so many things were going on the day of your wake. And I was like, I almost missed the wake. And I was like, you know what? I've got to go to this wake.
Yeah.
So one might be there. This might be my only chance to actually see her. And from that moment, I introduced myself, and, you were grieving.
Yeah.
You were grieving, but still in your grieving, you still gave me, what I'm saying, you were still more than gracious to me by by giving me my time and meeting me. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt comfortable with texting you. We exchanged phone numbers immediately. And 6 months later, we're here doing a podcast here.
Yeah.
So as far as we're gonna jump in because time's getting away from us. So we're gonna jump into the disconnect.
Right.
So I was actually talking to one of my aunties earlier because I wanted to get kind of the answer to, what kind of happened, because I didn't, I had heard of no, I had actually, yes, I did actually lay my eyes on your grandfather.
Right.
I had to been about 13 or 14 at the time. But he had other brothers and sisters. He had two other sisters that lived in Austin. I knew one, I didn't know the other. So it was just, how should I say this? I really wanted to know, how come we didn't know, about all of this information. And, I'm still not getting the information of what really happened. I'm starting to get the sense that things just kind of fell off because there were few individuals, because like my auntie said, I mean, my mom, they grew up in San Antonio.
Right.
But the Mackey roots are actually in Austin.
Yeah. Okay.
And and my auntie was like, yeah, we used to go to Austin all the time and all this other kind of stuff. And, but, again, this is information that I would not have known by what is evidence. You can't tell.
Right.
And, there actually used to be, Mackey reunions and things of that nature, where you got to see more of the family. But from what I understand, that, as people kind of moved around, I know you said, things about, excuse me, about your, cousins and stuff moving around. Well, think about that age, that analog age. A lot of times people moved around, changed phone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they did not contact you to give them an update of information,
right,
there was no way to fill them in. There was no way to tell them about births or deaths,
right,
or any other, or weddings or anything of that significance.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the family reunions, the Mackeys are a large family, as we said before.
Right.
And that's a lot of coordination to do in the analog age on a committee of 2 or 3 people.
Right.
So as people kind of got discouraged and stopped doing that kind of stuff, then we have 2 cousins meeting each other for the first time.
Yeah.
And after 40 years.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just, I guess I don't understand and I know we're not the only family that deals with this, but I don't understand just how you just kind of just stop calling or stop checking in on your family. I just don't get that. And I understand life gets in the way and we can't talk all the time, but it's not even just that, because sometimes you'll reach out to family members, you'll try to establish that, and then it's just like they're just not interested.
Well, what in my experience, it's easier to establish things earlier than later.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's harder, and it's even harder to reestablish. So a lot of times, if you don't have that establishment at, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old,
Right.
You know, it's hard, you know what I'm saying? You go through so much stuff between, 13, you know what I'm saying, all the way up until, life expires. You go through so many things and you go through so many, chapters. And you might be going through a chapter where you're not going to be so receptive of meeting anyone, family or otherwise, especially family, if you have not, if you don't have a strong family bond already within your circle, then it certainly is not going to be any easier to invite someone else is, you know what I'm saying? Who
Yeah,
says
but I think too the issue too is just even with the cousins or family members that you do have that kind of established bond or that established relationship with, it seems like there's still just a disconnect in the family just with like even first cousins. It's just like it's still, I don't know what it is, but it's like we're just, even with first cousins, you only see each other at Christmas, or holidays, or unfortunately at funerals, and so it's like, well, what is it like? What is preventing us from being able to just solidify those bonds and strengthen those bonds? It just seems like with us, it's hard for us to, it just seems like it's something generationally maybe that's been passed down that it's just will not allow us to create strong bonds, outside of, just the holidays and funerals.
Right. Well, here's the thing, right? It is hard to make those establishments, but somebody has to be first.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be first. Somebody has to say, this is unacceptable. Let's get this in, and at least, get family together and try to do the best you can to reach out.
Yeah.
And now there's actually, some technologies out there where you can find family and do a lot of legwork yourself. Whereas in the old generation, you had to depend on the stories of that generation.
Right.
But the thing of it is we got to get those stories before they pass off.
Right.
Because if we don't get it from them then, if we waste that time with them then, what do we have? You know what I'm saying? My grandfather has been gone for almost 20 years, 21 years to be exact. And your grandfather has been gone for almost going on 6 months here. I mean, those stories that they had, they're gone.
Right.
And those are stories that their kids may or may not know correctly. Only they know.
Right.
So that's why it's incumbent on someone to just kind of pick up the reins, try to do the legwork, get started, get started, and just try to find out, because I haven't found out everything I wanted to find out, you know what I'm saying, when I started doing my research, but I would not have found anything if I did not start. In fact, I did not even start family research to find information on the Mackeys. I was doing family research so I could find information on my dad's biological father before he passes away.
Right.
Because he ain't no spring chicken.
Right.
But as I started doing it, I started seeing so many Mackeys.
Yeah.
So then I started seeing so many Mackies, I had to push that to the side, and
Mm-hmm.
concentrate on what was there, what was
Right.
right there in front of me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, but we're gonna have to get started, and
Yeah.
just hopefully, we'll continue to work. I think another thing that creates a disconnect is class in education.
Yeah.
Families that do
Mm-hmm.
better, one set of family that does better than the other.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, that can be a big disconnect there.
Yeah.
You've got one, if you got one family, on food stamps and another family living on the hill.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yep.
It exists.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
It does.
and
Yeah.
it's in every it's in every family. And then the family, the family. I'm saying up on the hill. When I say up on the hill, I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
middle class. Okay,
Right.
don't
Yeah.
think anybody in our family, at least not that we've discovered.
That we know of anyway.
Yeah, you know, but
Yeah.
when you have the middle class, and you've got saying those, well, the views of the world are different.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
true.
and the other, so sometimes the families, the middle class, they can be completely in the dark with the things that the family over here that's not doing so well, what they're really going through.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you have a lot of that. Religious practices
Mm-hmm.
can cause
Cause the disconnect.
disconnect.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I think
I
we just
go
have
to this, you go to that church.
yeah. I think it's so many of them with us. I don't know that we'll never know. I think we can just kind of take a stab in the dark at it. But I do think a lot of it is what you said. I think a lot of it might be class. And class, and I think that might be a big part of it. Honestly, is the whole class thing. I think that you have some that are more, I'll say, financially successful, because success is not just measured in wealth or money. But I think that that's what it is. I think a lot of it um, is the success. Some being more successful than others, and then that big J word starts to pop up.
Yeah,
Jealousy,
yeah.
and then I think from there it kind of branches off, and everybody kind of does their own little thing.
Well, I mean, think about it. When when your kids and you're at grandma's house and you visiting with the kids, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? With your other cousins, and one set of cousins is eating, honey nut Cheerios, and the other one is eating, some generic honey circles.
Right.
Oh, and and when you're younger, you just think that when you're younger in the middle class, all you know is Honey Nut Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, the General Mills brands. You don't understand how your other cousins are looking at you when they're in the generic. You don't know. You don't know. All you know is up here. You know what I'm saying? You don't really understand what's going on down there.
Right.
And I'm not saying down there as in a family member is less.
Right.
That's not what we're doing here. I told y'all this is a safe space. Excuse me. I'm just simply saying you can just be completely oblivious. That's the word I've been looking for the past. I don't oblivious. You can just become oblivious to what they're really going through.
Yeah.
You don't really understand, or you don't really see until that your cousins, your family, your first cousin, second cousin were not as blessed as you were growing up.
Yeah.
You know? And that can cause, you know what I'm saying, some felt.
Yeah.
And guilt creates disconnect. If anything creates disconnect, it is guilt.
Yeah. Do you think that that love can heal years of disconnect? Is that something?
I think love is the start of healing disconnect.
Yeah.
Love is definitely the start. Have some, you gotta have love. Have some acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing and be willing to go to some places that you didn't think that you would be going.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about going through that mental highway. You know what I'm saying? Sharing that mental space with someone, really trying to get an idea of what it is that they went through so they can connect, you know? But even in our lives, even where there is a lot of strife and turmoil, there's some good in there too. So don't just reveal, you know what I'm saying, the bad. Connect on the good things as well, and connect on the fact that, you know what I'm saying, you are meeting somebody that is ready to love you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said to a cousin as I was starting to get to know them, you know, I cannot go back. I can't go back through time and give you the love you were supposed to have.
Right.
Okay. But I can love you right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I guess then the coup de grace is of questions is going to be, how do we move on and build up the family? And I guess for me, it's doing stuff like this, you know, and like you said earlier, being first and not afraid to be first to reach out, you know, because I think that so many of us, especially our generation and younger, are wanting and craving that connection with family.
Yes.
But they don't know where to start, or they're maybe even waiting for one of the elderly people, not that we're elderly, but somebody older to maybe be the one to start to extend the olive branches. And I think that once we start extending those olive branches, I'm hoping and praying that we'll kind of have the trickle down effect. I think that also as we get more people involved in the podcast, and it's not just the two of us, because I would like for it to be at least three of us, you know, at a time, talking from episode to episode, where we learn more about each other. Because I think as we continue to talk to other family members, other cousins, I think we're going to get more and more pieces of the puzzle that we've been missing, and we're going to get those answers. We're going to find out what the disconnect was, where the breakdown started, you know, things of that nature. And so I think that just the main way for us to heal and to move forward and to build up is to stay connected, to get rid of that disconnect. And we might have to be the one and be willing to be the one that has to make the bulk of the phone calls for a little while, or the bulk of the communication. Because I think that's another thing too, is you reach out to people when it's not reciprocated, or they're not texting you back or whatever. And I think we're just kind of like, okay, I'm done, you know. But I think as long as you are willing to be consistent with it, I think that is a great way for us to start to really heal and build the family back up.
Also, and this is very important, do not get, and you actually mentioned this in your last I'm just piggybacking in your last statement.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be discouraged when you get that door slammed into your face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have no idea what a lot of our family members have been through.
Right.
Okay. Family to them don't
Mm-hmm.
mean don't mean the same as family to us.
Right.
They have a different experience. We have to recognize that. We have to respect that,
Yeah.
and we do what we can to we got to bring them in.
Yeah.
We got to bring them in, and we got to show them that we are there for them.
Right.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm pretty sure that as we get to meet a lot of our family members, we're gonna hear some things that's gonna make our skin crawl.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. We just have to be ready, and we just have to understand and just be ready to love, create a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We might be the closest thing to a brother or sister that they'll ever have.
Right.
Yeah. So we just have to remember that, and just be ready, be mature yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, if you ain't mature, leave these people alone.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you ain't gonna do nothing but mess up their lives and yours.
Like Tabitha Brown says, if you gonna have you a good day now, but if you can't have a good day yourself, don't you dare go mess somebody else's up. That's a quote from my girl Tabitha Brown. Yeah. And I love it because it is true. Yeah, if you can't, like you said, if you're not mature enough to, and grown enough to be out there and put yourself out there without getting your feelings hurt and all that, then like you said, leave them alone, because you don't want to get somebody all stirred up and riled up and then, and excited about something, and you have no idea what emotional or mental state they are as it pertains to our family or just with life in general. And you don't want anybody to just come pop in and then pop back out of your life. So it's like, if you're not serious about it, then back up. just leave them alone. But yeah, they I guess to ask the audience, like, how is it? I guess this is just a question for our viewers and followers, listeners. Do you have this same type of disconnect within your family? Do you have a close relationship with your first cousins? Do you even know who your second cousins are? If so, do you have a close relationship? Yeah, even that too. Because everybody, I say first cousins because, everybody if you're not first cousins, then a lot of people just it's like if nothing else counts after that. It's just your first cousins.
I've got first cousins that I do not know.
Yeah.
First
Me too. Same.
I have uncles, that I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have been finding them and, accepting their friend requests and, what I'm saying? And,
right.
Facebook and stuff, but I don't know them.
Right.
And they don't know me.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have kids.
Yeah.
That means they have first cousins.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You have no idea who they are.
I do not know them.
Right. But I just, but I think we're asking you guys, because I'm like, we know that we're not the only family that's going through this and that has no idea who, like you said, your first cousins, second cousins, uncles, aunts, are. And so, just comment and let us know, do you know? And if you don't know, would you be willing, or what would you be willing to do to bridge that gap and to connect those bridges and to get rid of that disconnect? Would you even be willing to do that? So let us know what your comments are, or your comments are below in our comments. And don't forget to catch the first episode. We released our first episode last Thursday. We release new episodes every Thursday. Follow us on social media It's ChicKIN and Rice podcast, and it's chicken, ChicKIN. We're doing a play on the kin because we are kinfolk up in here. And so it's ChicKIN and Rice. And I mean, as usual, thanks for listening. We're trying to be mindful of the time because we can get into talking about this and we'll look up and it'll be like 3 hours later. But, I know it's interesting to us and it may or may not be as interesting to you, but it's just something that really, really, really needs to be talked about and addressed and discussed. So, yeah. Brother Sean, you have anything you want to add before we bid them adieu?
Yeah, I just wanted to just add, the importance of getting to know your family because, as the scripture says in the Bible, we might be entertaining angels.
Yeah.
Completely unaware.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So reach out, tell us, how you've handled similar things in your family. As Sujuane said, we're all over social media. Sujuane is doing excellent on Instagram. She's been right on top of that. The website is under construction, but that's about to be on and popping.
The website is on and popping now. The website has been updated.
You see? Yeah. You see that? You see there? See what I'm talking about, people? See what I'm talking about, family?
Yeah, the website is up and running. So if you can't find us on, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, if you just go to chickinandrice.com, and again, that's ChicKIN and rice.com. All of our information is there. All the links to our social media stuff is all on there. So just go straight there and you can get whatever information about us that you need. And probably some more, much more than you think.
The Facebook, I've been posting on there.
Yeah.
About to post there after I get off of here because I'm excited right now. So I'm about to go do that. On YouTube, hit that like button.
And the subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. Get those alerts. Yeah. That is what's going to help you find this video faster.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So yeah, just get with us here. We look forward to meeting you. We love you and we welcome you. You are safe here with family, I assure you.
Absolutely. So with that, we are going to say good night or goodbye, whatever time good morning, whatever time you're watching the video. And we will definitely see you guys back next week for episode 3.
Peace out. We love you.